Folk need to see a difference between the clean and the unclean. But from the days of Noah to the present, our culture has been guilty of mixing the sacred and the profane. Let me tell you this little story real quick about Egypt. When Moses was in Egypt, he went to Pharaoh. He told him, he said, we want to worship our God Jehovah. Pharaoh said, okay, worship him. Y'all can do it right here. He said, no, I can't worship God in Egypt because, I'm paraphrasing, you got all these gods up in here. We can't worship our God with the worship of your God. In other words, there has to be a difference because we believe our God to be the real God. So we just ain't gonna worship him right up in here with all this other God worship. He said, nope, you worship him right here with all the other gods. See, Pharaoh had an agenda. He knew if you worship him here with all the other gods, then nobody will see the difference between your God and the other 900 gods of Egypt. Moses said, no, we can't do that. I can't accept that. Pharaoh said, okay, I'll tell you what to do. Take the adults out to the wilderness and worship your God, but leave the children here. He knew the adults knew the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He knew there was really no turning some of them. So go on and get rid of them. But if you get rid of them, then we'll take your kids that are weak, your kids that are vulnerable, your kids that don't know the truth, your kids that have been watching a double life up in their house. They don't understand. So we'll take them and we'll let them watch us worship other gods and mix the real God with the fake God, mix the sacred with the profane, and they won't know what's real and what's fake. The sacred and the profane. Y'all still with me? This is the mixture of the sacred and the profane right here. That's Mega Fest, where they got godless 5% artists singing on the stage, bunch of homosexual gospel musicians and homosexual preachers preaching, whole bunch of mess going on up there. You don't even want to talk about what they doing later in the hotels up in there. Got to have security guards guarding the bathrooms and stuff to keep the men off each other. Patti LaBelle on tour in the Christian community, singing her gospel, so-called gospel and secular songs, mixing it all up in the churches. Is that, I can't believe it. Medea, cross-dressed man, preaching, using scriptures. Holy hip-hop. Holy. Y'all got it. The Word Network, and everything on the Word ain't bad, but a lot of it is. I tell you, the part that makes me mad is when they have them old godless secular artists up there introducing ministries. You watching the nerd, this is so-and-so, and I just did a filthy porn flick, but you watching the Word Network. Let's look at this. Body and Soul Gospel. That's a Time release. And we're going to talk about Time Warner later. That's a Time Warner release. Mixing sensual love songs and gospel songs. Interpretations of Earth, Wind, and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire, the most demonic Egypt worshiping group. I talked about it in part 3 in history. And Kurt Franklin is on it. Doing one of the Earth, Wind, and Fire songs? Interpreting one of the songs. So they won't come try to sue me. TBN? KRS-One was on TBN. Paul Mooney, look at him, dressed like Christ. Know your history. Jesus was a black man. Jesus was look at somebody and say he was a Jew. Somebody just, spirit of dumb. BET, I hate that station. That's the booty entertainment television. That's all they show. Because that's what hip hop is. They trying to appeal to us. And if you want to appeal to us, you better have some stuff shaking and jiggling. Make us dance. I I hate it because they mix the sacred and the profane. 1 hour of preaching, the next hour of butt shaking. 1 hour of preaching, the next hour, then gospel artists giving secular artists awards. Secular artists giving gospel artists awards. And they try to call it a black station. That ain't no black entertainment television. Because when something black is happening, they ain't ever even showing it. Oh yeah, oh y'all, I'm gonna prove that. When Coretta Scott King died, and she's supposed to be a prominent black figure, they had live national coverage on all the white stations. Guess what BET was showing? When Rosa Parks, who sparked the civil rights movement, a very important character or personality in our history, when they were showing her funeral on all the other stations, guess what black entertainment television was showing? Oh, I can raise you one. When 9/11 happened and the planes hit the buildings, thousands of lives were destroyed. MTV stopped and began to show live footage. Guess what black entertainment television was showing? Videos. Y'all, this is not funny. I'm sorry. What does Blair Underwood, who had an adulterous affair on the television show Sex in the City, where they promote homosexuality and a sexual lifestyle in your 30s. James Brown, who even had a 5-point pentagram, a Luciferian symbol on his cape on one of his performances. And Ayanna Van Zant, who is a spiritualist, a princess in some godless religion. Faith sings sexually explicit stuff. Common 5% doesn't even believe Jesus is the Son of God and referred to Rakim as God. Sanaa Lathan, who kissed a woman on Nip Tuck and had an affair with a woman on the show. Tyrese's music is sexually perverse and sad. And of course, Denzel Washington, who says he prays to ancient spirits and angels. What do all these guys have in common? They're all voices on the Bible experience. That means when you buy this Bible so you can listen to the Bible, you're listening to people that don't